high-speed pack racing. Catch every turn to see who takes home the checkered flag for the Am Better Health 400. We'll kick things off with pre-race at 2 Eastern. The green flag drops at 3. That's on Fox and the Fox Sports app. How about Michael McDowell, guys? Got it done for the first time in his career. He's starting on pole, and Joey Logano is outside, so they just swapped from a week ago.
Yellow cars again, right?
Yellow cars. They just swap positions. Well, we've been talking about our pole sitter, Daniel Dye. He's pretty pumped up, but let's listen to his radio, a little pep talk, perhaps.
I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but we're not going to lead every lap, right? So a lot of things are going to change in this race. So just take the start like you normally would. Cliche, but we only really need to lead the last one. You know what I mean? So this is a long race, but it's not. But we have all day, but we don't. So the biggest thing is here, just stay chill. Remember to breathe.
Yeah, I would like to say, make up your mind. Do we have all day or do we don't? I'm a little bit confused right now. I've never started on the pole. Could you clean that up for me? I want to understand what you're looking for. But all these teams, I think, believe that you're going to be back in the pack at some point, and you got to show patience. What I love about Daniel Dye, as we look at Blake Bainbridge, his crew chief. What I love about Daniel, he got a lot of experience at Daytona, running in the pack in the Xfinity Series, in the Truck Series. So he knows what to expect as he goes racing, and that doesn't settle the nerves all that much, but I think it does help him with his confidence, knowing that he can handle this situation.
I think it's really helpful. He has Kevin Hamlin on the roof, too, his eyes and ears. Kevin's been around for many, many years, used to spot for Casey Kane, now Alex Bowman on the Cup side, so he's got those ears and those words. I think it may have been him on the radio as well.
And a good race car driver in his own right,
yes,
too.
The Xfinity Series back in the day for Ganassi, Kevin Hamlin was a racer.
See all the partners on the back of Daniel's truck there that help him get to the racetrack and buy tires and engines.
Let's listen to Jack Wood's radio.
Yeah, as always, thank you guys for another fast truck. Just execute like we did Daytona, and further at the end, we'll get what we got. But I appreciate it. It's fun to drive over up front, so let's keep it that way and just keep our heads down. Yeah, have some fun.
Jack Wood, part-time racer again this year for McAnally Hilgeman Racing. It's got to be fun for him.
He was in the hunt. He was in the hunt at Daytona.
Got turned on that last lap.
See him right there on the second row. It's anybody's race. That's what's so exciting about the Truck Series.
Danny Dye's pulling for that 91 truck of Jack Wood to get a good start. Needs a little bit of a push, a little bit of a help.
At least he has a teammate on the inside that may be friendly.
And a couple more teammates around him in the top 5. What a beautiful day. The fans are here. The infield is packed. All 3 series are here. There they are on their feet. Daniel Dye. Tyler Ankrum will lead the field. Green flag is in the air. We are racing at Atlanta.
A lot of questions we're going to answer in the first 10 or 15 laps. How will these trucks handle? Is the low line the fast way? What kind of run can you get on the outside? As you see Majeski moving up. Excuse me, that's Eckes getting up to the top side, leaving those guys on the bottom to fight for themselves.
So Majeski out front there in the 98 truck.
He went to the top, and Eckes followed right with him.
Uh-oh, look at the bottom. Who's coming in the 7 truck? That's Kyle Busch. I loved your points about, you qualify fast, but what does that mean for your race truck at the start of this thing and the handling? So we'll see quickly who's got a good handling truck.
I like the versatility they're showing there with the Ankrum truck. He was low, then he went high. You got to be able to move around to control the race.
A lot of the talk in the garage was they really felt like the top was going to be the way to go, at least maybe halfway through the race. But let's see if Kyle Busch can change that thing. He's got some help down there. He said nobody really stayed down there.
What a save. Connor Jones in the 66 got super high. I don't know if he touched the wall, but it sure was close.
And he has never been here before. He's never even been on a 1.5 miles. He just turned 18 this week.
Drives down in the corner and just slides sideways up the hill. Nice save, kept it out of the wall. He was running 11th, gonna fall all the way back to outside the top 15. Look
battle
at those pushes.
Up front. Yes, battle for the lead. Tyler Ankrum's got control on the high side. And going back to your point about talking about the top side and how that was going to be the dominant line, why? What makes it that way early in the race?
I think there was just more grip up there than in the top side than there was in the bottom of the racetrack.
And Kyle Busch wasn't listening to any of that. He's gone to the bottom and drove right to the front. Challenged for the lead on that last lap, but has fallen back a couple of truck lengths.
Jamie Howe
Well, the word to Tyler Ankrum from his spotter, Eddie DeHaan, up top is you're getting too far ahead right now. He said you've got to stay on the high side no matter what. He said do not dip down at all, but do not get too far ahead because you're going to lose any help you have.
It looks like he's a little bit loose up there. The truck was dancing around, and that enabled Kyle Busch to drive to the inside again. Leads that lap, but Ankrum gets the push on the high side. Can he hang on to it?
You know, we haven't talked a lot about the wind. They say the wind is going to gust up to 40 miles an hour. We heard a lot of the drivers complain about their trucks wandering around during qualifying, and most of the crew chief said, I think that was due to the wind, and we certainly have wind today.
And just remember, those McAnally-Hilgeman trucks that start on the front row, they are a little bit sleeker than the rest, and that would cause the truck to be loose, and Kyle Busch is going to close the door, or is he? Ankrum says not so fast.
And Kyle Busch was one of those that said his truck was darty. It was wandering around yesterday in the wind. So basically, it's blowing pretty strong as they head down into turn 1. They've got that headwind, and then the backstretch, it just pushes them super fast right into turn 3.
Kyle has a teammate, Chase Purdy, right behind him in the 77. And oh, by the way, he drove for Kyle Busch last year.
Kyle almost completed that pass, but wasn't quite able to pull up, and he's not going to be able to do that again this lap.
And the 77 looks like he has his hands full. We heard about a lot of loose race trucks out there.
I'm looking at Nick Sanchez. He started back in 18th. We talked to him before the race, very confident. But if you qualify 18th, that means that truck has a little bit more downforce in it than some of the guys ahead of you, and it looks like he's just piercing through the field.
Because remember, all these drivers ran wide open qualifying. As Michael mentioned, if you're a little bit trimmed out, you can go faster by yourself, but will you pay the price when you get in traffic like this?
This is so close. We talked about Daytona. Oh, he did it. He shut the door.
Kyle Busch, new leader, takes control for the first time today, but that outside line isn't giving up. Tyler Ankrum hanging in there with Ty Majeski behind him, and Daniel Dye, the pole sitter, third on the outside row.
Good pusher there for Kyle Busch, though, and now he's going to pull back up in front of Ankrum. That's the blue and white Napa truck for Eckes.
Eckes did a nice job of advancing his position with that Kyle Busch move when Ankrum got cut off a bit. Eckes left his foot on the gas, and he's up to the battling for that second position.
Kyle Busch has now led in 26 of his last 27 starts. It's Kyle Busch doing Kyle Busch things. Kyle leads Tyler Ankrum. Christian Eckes is in the mix. We'll be back from Atlanta. Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, racing from Atlanta. And new leader, Christian Eckes, went from 5th to 1st. Kyle Busch was the leader when we went to break. He has slipped back to 4th. Let's see how it happened.
What a move by Eckes. We talked about that powerful start he had, but he just dives to the bottom, and he's able to clear Kyle and pull up in front of him. Kyle thought about doing the crossover to the bottom. Eckes just simply kept his foot in it and completed the pass.
And remember, these drivers are running faster every lap than what the pole speed was yesterday. Great move by Eckes.
Awesome shot. Christian Eckes took the lead. So that's 5 lead changes through 10 laps. That's the most ever.
A lot of history has been made at this track over the years, and this type of racing is what the fans show up to watch.
We had 35 lead changes the last 2 years combined over here, and I'm not sure we're not going to rival that here today.
One guy I don't think is content to ride in line, and Kyle Busch, when we went to break, was leading. He got past. Look at him. Falls down to the bottom, tries to make moves, and keeps getting past. Can he make that bottom work? So far, no luck.
Working lap number 16, and we got a truck around Keith McGee. Can he keep it down there?
I'm through here. All right, caution's out. Caution's out. Keep it rolling if you can.
Caution is out for the first time here.
That was a great save by Keith McGee.
Well, as I saw Keith in the garage a little bit earlier today, he said, I can't wait today to the race today. My truck's a little loose, though. That, if you're watching at home for the first time, that's what loose looks like.
And remember, the leaders went around him side by side and then just pulled the back end of that truck around, Michael.
He was getting lapped. Keith wasn't in that front pack. You can see here, down on the bottom, just trying to stay out of the way. And
looked like Kyle got loose coming off of turn 2 as well in that 7 truck.
You talked, you didn't want to see 3 wide, Phil. This is the first time we've seen it. What happened?
Yeah, they spin.
Too many trucks and too small of a space.
And Keith,
great save.
Keith is driving his tail off right there, hanging onto that truck.
Did a great job. And a lot of teams told me they needed at least 1 caution flag. As we take another look from a different angle at Keith's spin, they needed this 1 caution to be able to make it to that lap 60 at the end of the 2nd stage.
Wonder if our buddy Daniel Dye started on the pole.
Surely not.
Surely he didn't get us a good view of this, did he, from on board? Let's see.
I think he's going to.
Here he is.
Oh.
Clear low only.
Thank you, Daniel.
Clear up.
Did you hear him just roll off the gas until he saw where Keith was going? That was a veteran move for that kid. Really nice job.
Is he getting some advice from you, Michael?
We talk a lot about racing.
How's his golf game?
He's about as bad as me. But he weighs 131 pounds and he can hit it a couple 170 yards. So that's a good start. Anytime you can hit one far, you're going to get better.
Just straighten it out. Just straighten it out. That's all you got to do.
He's a great spirit. Glad he's on our team, carrying our onboards.
Daniel Dye raises the visor, takes a break. We're under caution for this. McGee goes around. Under caution for the first time here at Atlanta, and as you see, a lot of takers on pit road. Some 2 tires, maybe no tires.
Well, here's the deal. We saw various strategies there. Some 4 tires, 2, and a gas only. But this is predictable, Phil. Outside the top 15, these guys all pit. And the reason why they do so is so they can make it to lap 60 now. They're going to focus comfortably to lap 60. People up front racing for stage points, racing for stage wins, they decided to stay out. Now, it'll be interesting to see, and I think it's 50-50, how many of these cats stop at lap 30 when we end this stage, and how many of them stay out and try to stretch it to 60. Gas mileage has always been part of the game at any racetrack, but when the stage breaks are right on where you can make it to the end of your fuel run, you can see varying strategies.
Yeah, Nick Sanchez was running 16th, and he is the guy that led him down pit road, and almost everyone, Jamie, how behind him came down pit road.
Yes, after they saw him make that decision to bring the number 2 down, they did take 4 tires. Everybody behind him also made that decision. Nick Sanchez was able to lead them off of pit lane as well after a hard exit, but Corey Heim also made that stop for 4 tires. He also took on some fuel. He was right behind him at pit exit, but one thing that Corey said was, if this is going to do us any good, we've got to stop longer than that. He doesn't feel like they were on pit road long enough to get enough fuel to have any sort of advantage going forward.
Only time will tell. They know exactly how much fuel they got in that truck, and they'll know how short they are.
They didn't need a lot. Look at that right front damage. We saw that big slide for Connor early in the race.
That came from contact with another truck.
Yeah, we didn't see how this developed.
Because the right rear had gotten the wall earlier.
To the wall, if not into the wall.
Lawless Allen in the 33 for Ram Brothers Racing. He's new team for him this year.
Yeah, moved a little bit of damage to the front apparently with that truck.
You're going to hear gas saving going on here, I imagine. Just really lugging it there a little bit. Probably even shut her down here. Coming to the green flag, so maybe keep it running.
Like what we heard was them refire, letting the clutch back out.
You know, that's, under caution you'd think, let's take a break. No brakes.
No break.
You better save fuel. And by the way, don't stall the engine when you shut it off. Make sure you do everything right. What a great start to this race for Eckes.
He's figured these style of tracks out. Remember, he got the win last year. It was the first for this team. Had a great season, went on to win 3 more times. A little heartbroken at the end of the year, but he's back, and he has not 1 teammate, but 3 teammates. Christian Eckes, Tyler Ankrum, Ty Majeski, and Lane Riggs in the 38. First time we've talked about Lane. Wants a little comeback after last week. He was out early in the Daytona race, so good to see him back and running up front.
And Majeski lined up on the inside with Kyle Busch right behind him in that 7 truck.
Green flag in the air once again. 9 laps to go.
Oh, big
till
push.
Stage end.
Those trucks wobbled and bobbled down into turn 1, but that push.
Ooh, Majeski slides up in front of Eckes.
He almost had a truck width to get up there.
That push from Busch got the 98 to the front, and he was just barely hanging on.
Daniel Dye trying to get to the bumper of Kyle Busch on the inside.
I like the looks of this 38 truck of Lane Riggs racing outside the top 10 all the way up inside the top 5. That's a strong truck. What a statement win it would be for Lane if he could go to victory lane today.
I think that's the case you talked about, guys, that maybe didn't qualify as well as they thought they should, but a little bit more downforce built into those trucks.
Lane Riggs landed himself at Front Row Motorsports, replacing Zane Smith. We know what Zane did over there, won the championship 2 years ago. Solid year last year. He's moved up to Cup, so now it's all about Lane Riggs to see what he can do.
3 wide, guys.
That's
3
what
wide.
you wanted.
No, we didn't. We saw a lot of that at Daytona. We saw a lot of crashes. Oh, look at that move back as he's done that twice. Nice job of completing the pass and moving up.
He might need to save that in his bank for late in the race here.
Majeski doing a great job. Look at that push.
Matt Crafton falling back as truckers all around going past him.
Stuck in the middle.
I think he's got an issue. Maybe he doesn't just like the way his truck's driving right now, but wow, he's definitely off the pace.
I don't like how it's driving either. It looked like he's got his hands full.
He continues to fall. Back in 18th right now. Meanwhile, up front, this battle continues. Christian Eckes trying to win this stage, trying to hold off Ty Majeski.
One off him, tight to you. One off him, tight. I got no brakes. I got no brakes. Pedals all the way down to the floor. I got nothing. Nothing at all. I'm smoking.
That's not good. No brakes for the leader.
Well, it's better being the leader with no brakes than being second.
Talk about nervous now out there with, I mean, you're out there running 175, 80 miles an hour, and if Christian's right, with absolutely no brakes, it's really going to be a challenge for him if he gets past and he has to run in traffic.
Yeah, because they use the brake a little bit, trying to keep their distance off the other trucks. As you can see Kyle battling to the bottom, trying to pass Jake Garcia. Jake with a nice job early, along with Jack Wood in that 91. I think it's been fun to watch Kyle Busch. He's been going for it. He's been sticking his nose down low when nobody else really would, but it's not working as well as he'd like it to, and he's not controlling this race. Christian Eckes has taken over that role.
Well, Kyle has his teammate Raja Karuth right behind him, trying to form, as we say, energy on that inside line. But does he have enough time to formulate that energy and get to the front?
He's practicing right now. He's practicing to say, can I get this bottom groove to work? Because I know I'm gonna have to have it at some point, possibly. He's got some good pushers. He's got Bailey Curry, the 41 Raja, as Michael mentioned, in the 71 behind him. He's holding his own right now. He's not really advancing forward, but he is holding his own. And now he's going to pull up for a moment in front of the 9 of Grant Enfinger.
And there's Ben Rhodes, just popped into the screen, old two-timer, defending series champion in the 99, that bright orange truck. It's back there in the 10th spot.
We're running down laps here. Only it's going to be 2 to go to the end of this stage.
It's all about Christian Eckes. Can Ty Majeski get around him?
Now Raja's leading that lower lane. Lane Riggs is just tempted to go to the bottom.
I see what you did there.
Yes.
Lower lane and Lane Riggs popped in the shot right at that same time.
Throw in a Raja too for the fun of it.
Jake Garcia up there in the top 5.
I love that.
He's in the hunt no matter where we go. One of 3 drivers in the field, by the way, from Georgia.
Now look at this gap. Is Majeski laying off of Eckes to try to get that big draft in the run to come to the stage win? He had a run on him, but he didn't take advantage of it. Stayed right in line.
This is what's so great about stage racing. They're racing like it's the end of the race, but there are points on the line. Christian Eckes wants them. Trying to hold off Ty Majeski, Tyler Ankrum, Lane Riggs.
Ooh, Majeski drifts up. It's going to open the bottom for
Christian
Ankrum.
Eckes. He is led so far, and he takes it. He's dominated stage number 1. Second year in a row for Eckes, winning stage 1. And of course, we know what happened last year. He went on to win, but we won't talk about the speeding penalty he had to overcome to get it done. Christian Eckes leads 18 of the first 30 laps. Can he hang on and capture his second Atlanta win? Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, live from Atlanta. And trouble for the man who's dominated so far. Christian Eckes has a brake problem.
Right now, we're probably a lap and a half short of making it to the end of the second stage on our pit lap. Charles, I don't think you understand the severity of the situation here. Do you see the thing smoking right now? I don't know where it's coming from, but it's running. There's some kind of fluid running on the right side floor.
So fluid on the floorboard.
Got to be brake fluid. Got to
Yes.
be brake fluid for sure. And Michael and I were speculating if he was going to come work on the brakes at all, which we assume he is, then he should have come in before pit road opened. He would have to restart at the tail end of the longest line, but that's going to happen anyway if he takes extra time to work on the brakes.
Well, it's interesting. He said, I don't know if you understand the severity, because he did report that he had 0 brakes, and they're just worried about, you know, their strategy and how short they're going to be on fuel. And he's like, guys, we've got a problem. As you see him, peels onto pit road, and a lot of them behind him. Amanda?
You saw Jake Garcia peel off there. He's going to take those right side tires in fuel. He's a hometown boy based around 50 miles from here in Monroe, Georgia, and he is off. And you look at the 38 of Lane Riggs, his radio at the end of that stage, he said, that was fun. Woo! Had a little tightness in that truck, and he's off. Jamie?
Well, for Christian Eckes, you saw him come down pit road. We've covered the issues that they had with the brakes. He could not get it slowed down enough to rolling that the team was able to catch it. He had to keep on going through pit lane. They might have to head back to the garage to see if they can get it fixed. Christian's on the radio right now saying there's no way I can get this thing to stop. So they're going to have to try again, Jamie.
What he could do is put it in first gear and turn the engine off and let off the clutch and have it grind to a stop with the engine, and the team could catch it then. You can see here, not even close to getting a chance to stop it. There is a chance if it's just a bleeder screw loose in that brake, they could tighten that up and add fluid and fix it.
It worries me that it's running on the floor on the right side of the truck, because that maybe there's a junction in the firewall that that is leaking or something like that, versus a bleeder fitting in a caliper.
4, 3. Just roll through if you can. Roll through. We'll come back around. We'll figure it out.
I mean, he's
Just
still
roll all the
going
way through.
20, 25 miles an hour probably when he tried to get stopped. That's the only way he's going to stop, Michael, is if he does what you said.
So issues continue for Christian Eckes. We'll follow up on that after this. Stay with us. We're having a good time live from Atlanta. And about a half a lap to go before stage number 2 begins, and the problems continue for Christian Eckes. The good news is, though, he did get it down pit road, came to a stop. They were able to go under that hood. And
we're assuming they got it fixed. It looked like, from us watching the pit stop during the commercial break, that he got it fixed. Let's see what he says.
Still don't have a pedal. I hear you. I got to figure out the next plan.
Now this is when it gets a little dicey. NASCAR hears he doesn't have brakes back in the pack. They see he doesn't have brakes because of what happened on pit road. Will they black flag him?
Give me zip ties.
He's laying way back behind the field.
So Christian Eckes won stage 1. He's gone down 1 lap, still has the issues. So Tyler Ankrum, Grant Enfinger on the front row for the restart here, and stage number 2 is underway.
Kyle Busch is going to lead that low line. Grant went up top with Ankrum. See if Kyle can have success early in the race during that first stage. Phil, he was able to make that bottom work. Fell back during the running of the stage, but he's right back there up there on the bottom trying.
Some new faces up there. Brett Holmes up in the top 10 in that 32 truck. Got Corey Heim in the 11.
Some of those drivers that stopped earlier. If we had 4 drivers stay out, they're on the strategy to run this thing to the end of the second stage without stopping.
Those drivers that stayed out: Ankrum, Grant Enfinger, Tanner Gray, and Kyle Busch.
Kyle's determined to make the bottom of the racetrack.
and that's what we need. Look at Matt Crafton. We saw him struggling mightily during the end of that first stage, and look at the run he's got on the outside.
They've got Lawless Allen right side of your screen, that 33 stuck in the middle. Now he's going to move down to the inside in front of Dean Thompson in that 5 truck.
That's back there in that gaggle of trucks, about 13th to 17th place run right now, battling the pole sitter, the 43, Daniel Dye, shuffled back. You see him right there on the inside.
You see Lane Riggs just hit the 88. He pitted. He's back in that traffic as well. This is a mess, Phil. There's Daniel Dye.
It looked like Crafton thought about trying to move a little bit higher than Lane Riggs. Thought better of it.
Here's Daniel. You feel like Superman. You get the right run on the bottom, go around guys, but then it seems to stall out. Kyle's not giving up like you guys mentioned.
I've been watching the scoring monitor, Jamie, and I think every single lap that they've run has been faster than our pole speed. Every single lap of this race.
Well, you talk about the top side being the preferred. Only 4 trucks on the bottom in that group with Kyle Busch. I see the 99 of Ben Rhodes back there in the bright orange truck.
What about Nick Sanchez? He's right up in the middle of this mix. We talked to him before the race. Said he's going to win 10 races this year. He's got 1, 9 to go.
Somewhat of a teammate to Kyle Busch. These two expected to work well together at Spire Motorsports and Rev Racing.
It looks like Sanchez has a fast truck too. He's able to push Kyle, gets there and gives him that bit of an assist.
Nice job by the 15 of Tanner Gray right now, running up 3rd in line on the outside.
And Nick Sanchez, last year we called him so many times. We thought, okay, this is going to be the race. He starts on pole, he runs up front. He didn't get it done. Then he starts this year with a win right out of the box. What does that do for your confidence?
He's got enough confidence that he thinks he's going to win 10 races.
So. Yeah, apparently so. But just to run in these packs and do the thing, make the moves that he's making now. He's not a rookie. He doesn't have the rookie stripe on the back of that truck.
Remember early on last year, though, at Las Vegas, him racing with Kyle Busch at that time, and what an experience that was for him, and an education.
No doubt. Well, Christian Eckes, we've been following his issues. The brake issues, said he still doesn't have a pedal, but he's staying out there on the track. Brought it down pit road. He missed it the first time, couldn't stop the second time. They were able to make some adjustments and fix it. Let's hear the latest.
You know, if a caution comes out, I got to put it in the fence myself because I can't. That's the only thing. Slow down. Copy. I'm watching the front.
And the frustration has continued since that radio communication. We did have a couple of crew members go back to the garage area. They're looking for zip ties. They're going to have to bring him back down pit lane to clamp the line, but they don't want to take the chance to do that right now because, as we saw earlier, it is so difficult to get him stopped, and they haven't even had the chance to change any tires yet either. So there's still a lot of work to do, and unfortunately for Christian, he's still having to deal with not having that brake pedal.
Thanks, Jamie. What a move by Kyle Busch.
They are pulling in the smallest of holes as Kyle Busch got by Ankrum.
So basically what I heard Eckes say, if we have a caution,
I'm going to run in the wall to stop.
because I can't stop. So that's something to watch for if we get another caution.
I think NASCAR should black flag them. I mean, I don't understand. They saw the issue out on pit road, and they hear radio transmissions. That's just a safety issue.
What a battle up front. Kyle Busch now leading again today.
But you got to like Christian's plan. If they wreck ahead of me, I'll pull in the fence and stop.
Yeah. Only way I'm going to be able to slow down.
Look at Eckes. And there's Nick Sanchez. He went to the bottom, and Thad Moffitt went around him. Thad's doing a great job up inside the top 10 in that 46 truck.
Brand new team, has an association with Nice Motorsports, comes out of their shop. So same equipment that the other Nice drivers are running, but Thad's doing a great job.
That's good to see. And got another kid coming on the scene here that we can wonder when he's going to get to victory lane.
And a little bit of lineage there for Thad Moffitt.
I think
That's
so.
right. The 46, we're talking about Petty's Garage. Why Petty? Well, he is the grandson of Richard Petty. His mom is one of the daughters of Richard Petty, and Kyle Petty is his uncle. So yeah, great lineage. And what a tight family. I mean, he's always with his family. And he tells me that Richard is the first one to tell him when he messes up in a race and the last one to say he did a great job. So listens to his grandpa.
Michael and I probably lived that same type of a scenario throughout our lives.
Yeah, I heard a lot of things I did wrong.
You don't need to hear you're great all the time. All your fans do that for you, right?
Yeah.
There's been some great action. We've got them strung out right now, single file. I would like to have this deep breath, a chance to, maybe we can get a commercial in side by side because they're lined up.
It's the first time today they've been single file. So we'll step aside, but you won't miss a thing. We are going side by side.
Is it?
And caution is out for the third time for Thad Moffitt. We were just talking about him as we stepped aside. And he has some severe damage, not just on the left side, but the right side as well, as you see him right there.
Looks like they can tape up that right side. It looked like a little bit more on the left front. Yeah, you can see the fender's broken there.
Thad was having a great run. He was 8th at the time of this issue.
That had to feel good for that young man, facing the lead, facing in the lead pack.
Even despite this, you know, he knows that he can run up front. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened here.
One of the guys that's taken that extreme high line. Is that Eckes? And he tries to squeeze in a hole that isn't there.
It just wasn't there. That's Jake Garcia, the 13 truck.
I think that was Ty
Majeski right in front of him.
Yeah, and look how close this is. Couple of fast trucks. We talked about Garcia. We talked about Lane Riggs.
And look at Sanchez going by the 2 truck on the very bottom of the apron of the racetrack.
That does a great job of not letting that truck weave back up in front of that traffic. Kept her low.
Looked like the 38 of Lane Riggs has some damage from that contact. Here's another look.
Tries to squeeze in a hole that isn't there.
It might have been there for a split second, and that's the thing, that these holes close up so fast.
Ooh, there's the contact right there.
Because of the way these trucks with the big cabs, the way they close, their closing rate is so much faster than an Xfinity car or a Cup car.
So you see it there, 10 laps to go in this stage. These laps fly by.
If I'm Jake Garcia, I'm one of those guys coming to pit road, maybe even Lane Riggs after that contact.
So Christian Eckes, he said if there was a caution, he was going to have some issues. So he was weaving it as well as he could to try to slow that down, scrub that speed down. Pits are open. They're coming your way. Amanda.
You're going to see that Menards truck pull in the 88 of Matt Crafton. As I said earlier in the day, he's looking for that 16th win, but battling problems here today. The truck has been really tight for him. We saw him back off during that stage one. He didn't want to pit at all, but now tires for Matt Crafton as well. And on the 43, guys, we've talked about the win here today. A lot of people looking at those flags, including the spotters. Daniel Dye's spotter said to him, hey, guys, you're going to be fighting that win in turn 4, but it's going to help you out in turn 2. Jamie?
For Ty Majeski and the number 98 machine going ahead to take the chance to make the pit stop. He really needed to tighten it up a bit. He said that it felt like he was wrecking it every single lap he was going, and he just couldn't make it to the end of the stage. So went ahead and make that adjustment.
Well, we've been talking about all these loose trucks, hearing that Matt Crafton is actually a little bit tight. So changing conditions here as we approach the halfway point.
We talked about Lane Riggs and that contact, and Jake Garcia. They're both having extended stays down on pit road. There you see working on the right side of that 38 truck. That was a big clunk into the side of his truck, as was for Garcia. So not only Thad Moffitt involved in that accident, a couple other trucks.
And meanwhile, you saw quickly that 19 is rolling down pit road trying to get into his box. Close contact right here. These are small pit boxes at Atlanta.
That was tight.
Yeah, Ben kind of turned in a little bit early. Didn't really give the 5 of Dean Thompson enough room to get in his pit stall.
Had to back Dean Thompson up to get him out and around.
Rolling to a stop as Christian Eckes try to get down there and get repairs made to that Napa Auto Care truck. They're going to take it to the garage to do so. What a shame. Fast truck, won this race a year ago, won that stage. Just a line probably broke, might have possibly broke or came loose.
Yeah, same 4 drivers, though, stayed on the racetrack that have not pitted yet in this race, led by Kyle Busch.
You got to have a plan and stick to it, right, Phil?
Absolutely.
I like that plan.
Yep.
Well, good news for McAnally. They have 3 other good trucks out there, including the guy sitting second right now, Tyler Ankrum.
Ankrum has been up front this entire race.
He really has.
Again, that strategy to stay out, but he's been up there battling for the lead.
Again, the top 4 trucks have not pitted.
The amount of caution laps we've had should comfortably put these guys in their window to make it to the end of this stage.
We had a few trucks do it last year, was able to stretch that fuel mileage all the way to the end of the stage 2. So I expect, like you said, Bill, with the cautions, these teams have a pretty good handle on where they're at.
How about the Gray brothers? Both have worked their way up. Taylor Gray in particular started back in 31st, the 18-year-old, up into the 6th spot. The 17 truck, the JBL orange and black.
There's his
Tanner,
brother.
the other brother.
The older brother.
The older brother.
He used to race in straight lines.
He did.
Champion.
World
Yes.
champion. Yeah. Youngest ever, right? NHRA.
NHRA guy and decided, you know what? I want to go run a longer race. I want to turn left some more. I want to turn left and right. So he's been with us in the truck series now for a few years.
Well, both those brothers, I think, win this year. I can't imagine that they don't. I mean, we knew Nick Sanchez was going to win. He did it at Daytona. These are a couple of guys. I took a look at both those great kids and say they'll get a victory this year. The field is just so stacked. I know that's saying a lot, but these are quality trucks and they're learning their craft. 18 years old, Taylor's driven from last to the top 5.
We'll see Tanner some more in the ARCA Menard series. He will run the Joe Gibbs number 18 car in the bigger racetracks for the ARCA Menard series.
Well, we have a doubleheader for you coming up after us on FS1. The NASCAR Xfinity Series takes place right here from the High Speed Pack Racing. Will it be Austin Hill? He has dominated Daytona. Can he get a back-to-back win today? The action starts at 5 Eastern on FS1.
I'm going to say yes. After what he did at Daytona?
Heck yeah.
He drove through the field.
How about Jesse Love?
Oh, he was so fun to watch.
He's on the pole again for the second straight race. First time ever a driver has captured the pole in his first 2 starts in the Xfinity Series.
And that's over 40 years. They started in 1982.
Isn't it fun when you get to say that's never happened before? I have 2 grandchildren, Jamie, and they'll say a lot. Well, I've never seen that before, Papa. And I'm like, I bet you haven't. You're 12. But when you're our age and you're seeing something for the first time, that's pretty cool.
Jesse Love's loving it.
Going to be a short run to the end of this stage. We'll get the restart with 6 to go.
Oh, you just made my heart rate go up, Phil. When it's a short run to a prize, these cats get with it.
So 1 truck out of the field. That's Christian Eckes. Took it back to the garage. Connor Jones 6 laps down in the 66. He's still on the racetrack.
Lane Riggs gave up a lap there fixing the 38 truck, and he's still sitting on pit road. That's a shame. What a fast truck he
We've
had.
just talked about him making his way up there in the top 10. Green flag is in the air once again. 6 laps to go in stage number 2.
Big push. Taylor Gray got a hold of Grant Enfinger. Is it going to allow him to clear Kyle Busch? Kyle's getting a big push as well.
Grant Enfinger battling for the lead for the first time for him today. Can he win this stage?
See Enfinger and Taylor Gray get unhooked. Look how those guys that are still hooked up, the gap they get going in turn 3.
What a push by Tyler Ankrum for Kyle Busch in the 7.
Tanner Gray around the outside of his brother. And here comes Corey Heim. He started outside the top 15 as well, made his way right up into contention.
Corey Heim got the win here 2 years ago, his first career win at his home track, and he said, this isn't a good place for us, so we spend a lot of time focusing on it. And he said, it makes me nervous thinking about it. This style of racing is so intense, but here he is. He finds himself in the top 5.
It sure doesn't surprise me that he's up there racing in the top 5.
He is a solid driver. Heim time. Will it be his time? There's Nick Sanchez. Bailey Curry, we've talked about him a couple times today already in the 41 truck right there in the mix.
Majeski right behind Bailey Curry.
You got your miles per hour there. Kyle Busch, 172 miles per hour. So they worked their way around this 1.5 mile racetrack.
See Mason Maggio down there on the bottom in that number 21 truck. He's trying to get something going, racing inside the top 15. And here comes
Sanchez.
Nick to the bottom. Can he get any help down there?
Hope is a strategy, right, Mikey?
Got that right, and sometimes that's the best strategy.
If I drop down, will they come with me?
And look at the crossover there. Is that Bailey Curry to the bottom?
It is. Not going to be pull up all the way to right beside the 11 of Corey Heim. Again, he's going to fight the same thing. There was not a hole there, Bailey.
Crowds Nick Sanchez.
Don't get in there, Honey Badger.
Those guys on the outside saying, you stay down there, Bailey Curry. We're going to line up over now. He's got a little help. Matt Mills, teammate coming up to help Bailey Curry.
Oh, we got a truck going around. The 91 at Jack Wood, right in the infield grass, right in front of the start-finish line, and the yellow flag is out for the 4th time.
Look at the back of that truck. It looks like might have been a push gone bad or something like that. A hard push into the back of Jack. What a great job Jack's been doing this year too. But
a couple of tough breaks late in the race at Daytona. Heck, last lap gets turned, and now here early. It's been really fast.
That's another McAnally truck.
Here he is right there.
Does he try to get in a hole that's not there? He does. That's a shame.
Gets into the 32, I believe. Was that Brett Holmes?
And that's what we're seeing, you know, as the race goes on, trying to squeeze in. It's happened from the beginning, but just trying to squeeze in holes that just aren't quite there. Sometimes if your spotter yells, clear up, you better make sure you're clear up.
It might have been that way for that instant, but the closing rate of these trucks closes that hole up so fast. Looks like the grass may have done the damage to the front of Jack's truck.
How much damage does the 32 truck have to it after scrubbing on the wall with the contact?
Too bad for Jack Wood. They'll run about half the races, I believe, for the team this year. So this will end stage number 2 under caution. 6th stage win at Atlanta for Kyle Busch, most all time. 6-time winner here too, by the way. I think this was a late ad for Kyle Busch to run this race. He was supposed to start next week at his home track in Las Vegas. And by the rules, he can only run 5 times. So he'll get those done in the first half of the year. I
think the deal came together possibly as recent as last week for Kyle to run this race. And whenever he's in a race vehicle, he's here to win, and he's certainly doing a great job again today.
I just have loved the fight in him. You know, he lost the lead. He kept battling back on the bottom. He gained the lead and has been able to keep it. But this thing's far from over. There's a lot of fast trucks out there.
Well, it's just interesting, you know, for those that may not know, Kyle Busch owned Kyle Busch Motorsports. They won 100 races in this series. And he sold to Spire Motorsports, and now they've asked him to come back and run 5 races. And Kyle said it yesterday, it's just to show kind of where they are. What's their equipment? By the way, it's Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks that they built, but where are they? How do they stack up? I think he's showing that they're doing pretty darn good.
Yes, they are. What a fun race so far today.
All right, pits will be open after this as cleanup continues for that. Jack Woods, number 91, goes back on the hook.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway, where we have just finished the 2nd stage of competition. And I'm here with Christian Eckes, who is now out of that number 19. We documented the brake issues that you were having inside of that truck, Christian. Now to end this race in retirement, what do you take away?
Missed opportunity. Our number 19 Napa Auto Care Chevrolet was really good today. I felt like it was the best truck by a decent amount. I was able to do really whatever I wanted to in the first stage. So to be out with something pretty stupid is bad, but we'll learn from this and move on to Vegas.
Thank you, Christian. Jamie?
Thank you, Jamie. And Christian Eckes led 20 laps today, got that stage 1 win, and like he said, just a frustrating moment.
Well, you can taste victory. You get a dominant truck. You don't get a dominant truck very often. His was fast. I mean, he dominated that first stage, able to drive to the lead and keep it. over Kyle Busch. When you do that, that's quite the accomplishment. That makes things even sweeter. So it's just extra difficult for that young man to give up on this day, especially hometown of Atlanta, of Napa, right down the street in Atlanta.
I wanted to see those two battle it down to the wire at the end of this race. See if the 19 had anything for Kyle at the end.
Here, the four trucks that have not been to pit road yet will lead the group down.
There's going to be some fast trucks that stay out on the track here, Phil, it looks like, getting some track position.
You see the commitment to pit road is all the way over in turn 3, so there's a nice long drive all the way around to where pit road actually begins.
Over 2,300 feet.
2,300 feet, so long drive. They'll make their way down. As you mentioned, 4 drivers had not pitted, so everybody will get their service. Thad Moffitt pulls off as they continue work there. And there's the lead pack. Kyle Busch leads them down pit road.
Jamie, I was talking to drivers earlier today how execution right here on pit road could make or break them today. We're going to take a look at the 71 of Rajah Caruth. He's coming off of that 3rd place finish at Daytona. You can see the 2 tires on the right-hand side of the truck going on there. And for Bailey Curry, he was a little upset about the discussion around Daytona and what that race was for the drivers. And I asked him what he enjoyed about the Truck Series. He said it's hard-nosed racing. You will find him on that bottom line as we progress through this race.
Rajah Caruth in the 71 got a little sideways on the exit of pit road.
I think there might have been a little contact with he and the 33 of Lawless Allen.
See what happens.
Take a look at it. You see Rajah's getting ready to leave pit road. The 33's coming in. There is a little bit of contact. That's why he was sideways, Jamie.
Doesn't look like that right rear fender is really, really sensitive, but I don't think there was enough of a bounce off of it to hurt anything, but hate to think maybe it's a tire rub.
We're at the halfway point, just about there. Will it be Nick Sanchez or Kyle Busch? Stay with us. We're having some fun here at Atlanta. Tonight on Fox Primetime Hoops, top-ranked UConn is on a mission to repeat as national champion. Now they'll take on Big East rival Villanova, who has their sights set on a major upset. Coverage begins tonight, 7 Eastern. That's only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. What do you think, Phil?
Well, UConn coming off a disastrous loss to Creighton just the other night.
Oh, the Blue Jays took them down.
They did.
Didn't see that one coming, did you?
No, not at all.
We got you covered. Xfinity Series action coming up after us. You could check out some hoops tonight.
We're choosing.
We're choosing to choose.
We've chosen to choose. We have chose, and the top 6 trucks in the running order stayed out. A little strategy here, and Kyle Busch finds himself just outside the top 10. So it's going to be fun to watch if he can climb back through the field.
And it's no big deal for those trucks that stayed out. They only had about 10 laps of on their fuel. But they know everyone's going to have to stop in this last stage here.
This is me right now. Let's go. Wind her up.
70 laps to go in the Craftsman Truck Series from Atlanta. Green flag is in the air. The third and final stage begins.
Matt Mills leading them down.
Dean Thompson in the 5.
Great push on the inside. Is that Caden Honeycutt pushing?
It is. And
the
look at
5
that
Dean
gap.
Thompson.
It's a little bit more gap than Dean would want if he could choose, but hopefully Mills just comes up and gives him a push and keeps that outside line rolling. Not going to happen.
Let's go for the lead. Go for the lead.
I like your attitude.
Matt Mills wants that lead, and he takes it.
Great job by Matt Mills.
Caden Honeycutt as well.
Caden Honeycutt pitted on lap 63, up there in the mix with a lot of the boys that stayed out.
3 wide. We didn't need that.
Chase Birdie on the bottom, 3 wide.
He's got a good pusher.
Oh, Ben Rhodes has had some issues. He's on pit road. First career laps led for Matt Mills.
That's great. He had a great start to Daytona. Not a great finish.
End up losing a cylinder during that race. Great qualifying effort. It's going to be a fun year for Matt Mills.
Full time with Nice Motorsports.
Look at Chase Purdy.
He's taking a look. Side by side he goes. He wants to take the lead now.
Look at the right side of your screen. That is Ben Rose up to the high side. I think he knew he had some sort of an issue and jumped up there out of the way.
Ben Rhodes was 7th.
Flat tire maybe, because I saw some smoke.
Yeah.
He got out of the way, came to pit road, and has returned to the track as Tyler Ankrum. Oh, Purdy's up the hill.
Looks like
He has had a
really
loose truck all day. Matt Mills took it through the middle. Battles for second with Grant Enfinger in that 9 yellow truck on the bottom.
What about this 3-wide racing, Phil?
How about
You
that?
You called it, Phil.
Ankrum's been so strong this entire race, racing up towards the front.
I feel like we've seen the 88 of Matt Crafton in the middle of this multiple times
And that's
today.
the last place the veteran wants to be, I can promise you. But he's got a hold of that 88. He's able to keep it steady and straight through there. As you see, the 77 truck been really loose. He's up on the outside.
Look at Caden Honeycutt pushing that 77. That's Caden in the 45 truck.
What did we say, about 177 miles an hour, just feet apart from one another?
Sometimes touching and pushing.
Unbelievable.
There's Nick Sanchez down on the bottom of Crafton. Bailey Curry in the 41 giving that push. Wow, what racing we're having here at Atlanta.
Tyler Ankrum in the 18 just having a stellar day. Stuart Friesen in the 52 on the top side, and they're still coming.
Raja Caruth there in the Hendrick Cars truck.
Crafton says, get me out of here.
Yeah.
He ducked to the bottom and is probably breathing a little easier right now.
Ben Rhodes leaving pit road, cleaning up the damage on his truck.
We haven't mentioned Kyle Busch in a bit, which is unusual. He's falling back right now.
Falling back to 17th. Jamie.
For Tyler Ankrum, when he was just on pit road, they were debating whether or not they were even going to take the 4 Goodyears that they ultimately decided to take. He said, I have such good grip, I have such good balance right now, I don't want to put anything new on this truck that could potentially mess that up. They decided to go ahead and do it because they needed all of the fuel they could take, but even with that, as you guys have talked about, they're still going to be about 16 to 17 laps short and are going to have to stop again.
Yeah, the crew chiefs told me that they need 5 gallons more at once they end of the second stage. If they're full, then they'll need another 5 gallons to finish this race. What a job by Matt Mills up there running in the second spot to Ankrum.
Yeah, he was so disappointed about Daytona. Had a little bit of an accident early. Got his truck bent up a bit, fixed it, and then dropped the cylinder. And here's a story. I think he's been working the bottom, but still outside the top 10. Maybe he can get Matt Crafton a push through there. But we saw how crowded it was, 3 wide at times. There wasn't really anywhere to go, but you got to figure Kyle Busch is about tired of running outside the top 10.
And remember, it's not that you can't make your way from the back, because Christian Eckes, who won this race last year, had a speeding penalty on his final pit stop and was able to make his way back from the back to the front to win that race.
So Kyle Busch in the number 7 truck, he led the most laps so far today, 26. Finds himself as deep as he's been.
Right behind 3-time champ Matt Crafton.
You wonder at what point will Kyle get a bit of a run and make it 3 wide and maybe try to stick Crafton in the middle and move by him.
Crafton's right on the back of Nick Sanchez in that too. And you see Stuart Friesen, he's going to go topside. Oh,
he got into the wall.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that Tanner Gray didn't get a little piece of that with his right front corner.
That's a shame.
He keeps it up there. Everybody makes it around him just fine. See if he could get it down to pit road. We're going to stay green right now.
He comes to pit road.
Beautifully executed. Stuart Friesen was 11th at the time.
More than it'll put him out of contention. He'll lose at least a couple laps, even without major damage repair.
Here's a look at what happened.
He tried to sneak to the outside of Caden Honeycutt in the 45, that white truck, and you can see as he gets up there, loses the nose, and right there into the wall. And look at Gray.
Just missed
wow,
him.
what heads up driving that was.
I think there's damage.
Oh, yeah.
There's definitely some damage and a tire rub, as you can see on Tanner Gray's truck.
He just got to the bottom, but just a split second too late. Could have been much worse if he hadn't been so heads up.
Gosh, Stuart Friesen, we heard from him yesterday. All smiles. New crew chief, Jimmy Villeneuve is the new man in charge, and he said, we are revamping this entire team. Starts from leadership down, and we're really excited about what's to come. And you hate to see something like this. Just put him back.
But what you do love to see is Tyler Ankram's going on a bit of a losing streak. Matt Mills, Dean Thompson's never been to victory lane. Taylor Gray.
He flipped last week at Daytona and comes back, and he's in the hunt for a win.
This is good stuff.
And no surprise to see, Raja
Caruth. He's got an issue.
Flat tire probably, possibly.
Coming out of turn 2, so he'll be able to make his way down onto pit road, no problem.
Remember, he can run. Big time break for Raja.
Caution is in the air for debris on the front stretch. Yeah.
Like maybe a rear tire, more than likely. Michael went down on Raja's truck, but a huge break that the caution flag came out.
They said there was debris, and I wonder if that's what cut that tire down for Raja.
Look at that, what a nice save.
Raja's elected to stay on the track. That's a little bit of a risky call. If that right rear tire is flat as he goes by our broadcast position. And if he blows that out, it could rip up that tire, that whole fender. So a little risky. He's going to stay on the lead lap. Just needs to calm down, slow her down, make sure that tire doesn't come apart.
Yeah, the leader in the pace truck is over in turn number 3, so he has plenty of time. He's right now in the middle of 1 and 2, coming off 2.
You see their lap since last pit stop. You guys said it's about 58 to 60.
Oh, they're in their window.
62, yeah.
Yeah, they're in their window. I think you see everybody come to pit road when pit road opens. I mean, Raja has no choice but to come to pit road now and take care of that tire. He'll restart at the tail of the field. Actually, I think he is staying on the racetrack again.
I hope not.
He is. He's on the apron of the racetrack over there in turn 3 and 4. There he is.
That's asking a lot of that tire.
I think everybody comes to pit road because they're in their window to make it to the rest of the way.
So you're saying it was a well-timed caution?
Yes, it was.
And a good save.
Not only for Raja, but for everybody else in the field.
And Raja is on pit road now. Yeah. The gears are turning on those crew chiefs, trying to make sure do they want 4 tires? Do they just want gas? What's it going to take to win this race?
I think if we just put 4 tires on at the end of that second stage, I think just a little bit of fuel.
Didn't we talk during the pit stops with the contact that Raja had? Hope it didn't bend that right rear fender. I think that's exactly what happened. It bent it in on that tire, and it caused that tire to go flat. So great save by Raji, still in contention. The team is addressing the right rear, pulling it out.
So this is the 5th caution today. Our free pass will go to the 25 of Ty Dillon. Haven't mentioned him today. He's full-time in the truck series this year.
And let's mention that these bodies on these trucks are steel, unlike the composite bodies of the Xfinity cars, as well as the carbon fiber bodies of the Cup cars. So
they don't pop out as quickly.
No,
the damage
they don't.
is more severe.
And they bend in quicker. It's a bad combination right there. You can't have it any worse than that.
A lot of pressure on these pit crews now for these pit stops. Track position so critical here.
Tyler Ankrum is saying, this is our last time on pit road. Nail it, boys. Keep me out front.
Yeah, no, don't speed.
There he is right there. Tyler Ankrum leads Matt Mills and Dean Thompson, Taylor Gray, Corey Heim. They're coming your way. Amanda, you're up first.
Well, you see Taylor Gray started this race from the rear all the way up to the 4th spot. He said that the track is changing with all the tire rubber being laid down. It'll be a fuel-only stop for him, Jamie.
Well, moving up pit lane just a little bit, number 42, Matt Mills. They're tied to take right side tires only team, extremely complimentary of the job he's been able to do today. And that number 18 of Tyler Ankrum has led 25 laps so far. They decided they were good on tires. They didn't need any more of those. It was gas and go. Jamie?
Grant Enfinger stalled on pit road, had to back it up. Saw some chassis adjustments as well to go along with what Taylor Gray was saying. The conditions are a-changin', so we are under caution. For this, we'll ride on board with Daniel Dye. The 52 gets into the wall. Thank you, Mr. Dye. Welcome back to Atlanta. As you look at Grant Enfinger, we showed him have that issue on pit road where it looked like he was stalled and they pushed him back into the box. What happened?
He was running 4th, and here he is right here. And I think he just simply left too soon. Let's listen into crew chief Jeff Stankiewicz.
Hold on, not yet, not yet. Hold on. Oh, no, stop. Back up. We're not full. Get it full.
And it was actually a miscue that happened the stop before this, back on lap 63. Their intention at that point was to put 2 cans of fuel in. They were only able to get 1 in at that time. Not everybody got that message. They're on the same page for this last stop. So as soon as Grant had the 1 can of fuel in, they went ahead, gave him the cue to leave, but he wasn't topped off yet. He needed that 2nd can. So ultimately, he lost all that track position. Jamie?
Now, Jamie, you've explained this to me. He can overcome this. Remember a year ago, what happened?
Christian Eckes got a speeding penalty. When? Right now, in lap 80. And what happened? He drove through the fields for the win.
It's doable.
Yes.
It's doable.
Well, and there's a couple other guys that had issues on this pit stop as well. We saw Nick Sanchez in the 2 truck speed, and Stuart Friesen did as well. Raja Kruth pitted too early. We saw his flat tire. So there's not only going to be 1 guy trying to overcome some issues on pit road, there's going to be 4.
And Matt Mills just led his first career laps, and he ran over equipment on pit road, so he was penalized.
He's rolling back to pit road now, maybe to top off with gas just to be sure. Doesn't have anything else to lose. I think Sanchez will do that as well. You know, if you have overtime, you never know how much gas you might need. And I'd say there's a 50-50 chance at overtime here today. It gets a little crazy at the end.
Yes, it does. Especially coming out of 4 here. It's incredible how tight it gets, how wild it gets. So stay tuned to the end. About 50 laps to go here. Green flag goes in the air once again.
Stay tuned to the end, and then we're going to re-rack it, run those Xfinity cars.
Yes.
See another exciting NASCAR race here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
A couple trucks 1 lap down will be racing for that potential free pass if we get another caution. Colby Howard in the 1 truck, and Ben Rhodes right now being shown 1 lap down, racing for that free pass.
That's intense. As the race gets closer and closer to the end, you just want to get back in the battle.
I don't know if it's going to be as intense as what we're looking at right now, this battle for the lead.
Well, we talked about what's still to come. Race day will follow us, and then it's the Xfinity Series with Jesse Love starting on the pole, as you mentioned, Mikey.
Jesse Love, Austin Hill. Can they beat Austin Hill? What a story he has become on these drafting tracks.
He's won here before, too.
Yeah.
How about the front row between the 2 of them, Kyle Busch and Tyler Ingram? Kyle was there. He fell back just a bit. 65 wins. Yeah. 64 goes to Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch is on the inside. We've seen him make it work down there on the front row. Can he do it again? Bailey Curry doesn't quite get hooked up.
Corey Heim with a big push for Tyler Ingram. Gets out ahead of Kyle Busch on that inside.
Bailey's trying to hang with Kyle, slides up in line.
There's a hole there for Kyle. He's going to take it. I think Bailey's smart and just stays in behind Kyle Busch instead of trying to do the crossover.
So many of these young drivers, they will tell you when they hop out of their truck how awesome it was to race against Kyle Busch and how much Tyler Ingram has probably learned today running around him all day. And if he can beat him, imagine how far that goes with confidence.
And that's how it was for Michael and I when we started our career. If we could be somewhere around Dale Sr., I think we were in pretty good shape.
What if we looked in the mirror and saw Harry Gant? We'd be like, oh man, I'm rolling now. those feelings are they're life lessons on the racetrack too. You learn so much from racing around the best. Learn where you're at as a driver.
I know some fans still ask, you know, how does Kyle Busch run down here in the truck series? Well, only 5 times, but those drivers that are racing around him appreciate him being here. Maybe not all of them, but a good amount of them love what they learned from having Kyle in the field.
And what we appreciate is seeing guys like Lawless Allen in the 33, up on the outside, Caden Honeycutt, Brett Holmes, all these drivers, Daniel Dye, racing in this front pack here at Atlanta. This is really fun for us to watch and those guys to be able to compete at the top of this series.
When they repaved and reconfigured this racetrack, it has just changed its look. I mean, look at this pack racing. It's nonstop. It's hold your breath from start to finish.
Now it's going to be interesting to see up front when Kyle decides to make his move. It looks like he's a little bit faster right now than Corey Heim, all over him on the back, but he's going to have to duck to the bottom to make it work, it looks like. When does he decide to make that move?
Corey Heim running second. That's exactly where he left off in Daytona. So a good start to his season, solid. Come home with a clean truck is a win at Daytona, but to finish in the top 5 is big.
I think right now, if I'm one of these drivers running up in the top 5, 6, 7, I'm content to ride around there in line. Let's log some laps. We still have 46 laps to go here, a long way to go.
They're back in the back. Some of those guys we talked about having those pit road penalties, both Nick Sanchez, Grant Enfinger, and Raja Caruth, they're moving.
They have to.
They're going for it. Oh,
42. You saw the smoke in the air. That's Matt Mills. Talked about him running up front, led his first career laps. Then he had that penalty, went to the back. He was one of those guys you mentioned, Michael. So he got into, I'm not sure if the wall or another truck, but he's got a lot of damage.
It looks like, yeah. He's running 21st. Again, you talked about the penalty, but nonetheless, a great run for Matt Mills early on, and he's going to have a lot of good days this year.
Yeah, that's heavy contact. See if we can see in the distance what exactly goes down.
He's just high and in the wall. So he gets it down pit road. We stay green. Tyler Ankrum continues to lead here today. What a career day for Tyler Ankrum. Even if it ends right now for him and something goes sideways, he has had a great day with how many laps he's led.
And that's what we talked about at the top of the show. Yeah, it's been a long time since he's won a race, but good things are happening. He's in a great spot here. We talked to him at length in the garage area at Daytona, and he was so happy to be here and had such a great vibe with his crew chief too. So things are looking good.
Watch this move. I talked about guys on the move. Nick Sanchez saw that outside lane backing up. He dove to the bottom, passed about 6 trucks, and he's going to be able to duck up in line eventually, I would bet.
Or maybe jump in there.
Oh, no! Gets into Grant Enfinger. I thought he was going to get up behind him. He tried to go to the bottom and get around him.
Wow. Grant
Another good save.
I know, but I'm worried about that right front tire. That was big.
You see, now they're back up to speed.
You're mad as heck at him at one moment.
Now you got to help him.
Let's go, buddy. We can get back up there.
I'll help you. I'll get behind you and push.
There was a lot of momentum on the bottom. And watch this move.
Yeah, I don't think Grant had any idea that Nick might stick his nose in there, but there was enough momentum for Nick's truck that if Grant would have stayed in the middle, I think Nick would have driven right on by.
I can't believe they didn't crash. I mean, that was heavy contact, and they kept it together, and now still marching forward.
Yeah, definitely a situation where Grant came down. Nick started to grab that hole that was open for a moment. We're in caution as out now debris, Jamie, in turn number 4.
And that is the 6th caution for today.
And that's good news for these drivers that had to restart from the back. Get some spots. Let's throw a caution, maybe grab some more spots on a restart.
Who knows how the restart will go? You get the right line, you pick up 4 or 5 more spots.
You said it's good news for the drivers. It's good news for us and the fans. We get to see them have another restart.
I talked about this big run. Watch Nick Sanchez in this too. There goes Grant Enfinger. Grant does it first, and Nick sees what he's doing. And look how many trucks they pass. That's the kind of momentum we're looking for. And here comes Nick with him. He said, I like what you're doing, Grant. I like it so much. I'm going to go with you right up to when we almost wrecked together.
I'm going to go with you until I'm not going to go with you because I have more momentum than you. Yeah, Chase Purdy behind him. Ooh.
Oh, what a save.
By both of them.
Did you see all the trucks they passed, though?
Oh, yeah.
That's what's possible as this race winds down.
And our scoring monitor is showing that Colby Howard is in front of Ben Rhodes and will be in line for the free pass. There's the debris you see flying in the air.
Some sheet metal, it looks like, perhaps.
Sheet metal or fiberglass.
It's so windy out here. Earlier in Cup qualifying, it looked like a big piece of something, like heavy, and then the guy got up to it and the wind blew and it was just plastic bag. All kinds of random things flying around. Jamie, what do you have?
We're just listening to the radio between Nick Sanchez and his spotter, Derek Nealon, following that contact. And Derek said, you know, that bottom line's good enough right now. Don't worry about going up to the top line. You need to stay where you're at. Your right front looks good. Don't make any adjustments right now. Nick said, I just don't know what the 9 was doing. I figured he knew that it was good enough to go for it, and nobody moved. So a little bit of frustration, but everything's kind of settled out. There's also no damage on the 9 at this point in time. So everybody's going to just be good to go back when we get to green.
Thank you, Jamie. Well, that answers your question, Michael. You were curious about the right front, worried about it, but Bono Mannion is crew chief. Everybody says it looks good right now, so he will continue on.
Bailey Curry's running.
I'm hearing that's the roof that was flying on the backstretch. The roof off that 41 truck. Is that right?
He's shown his 4th. And his roof flies
roof
off.
is
He's
gone.
got a convertible truck.
I've never heard of that before, I don't think.
Holy cow.
You see the roof flap still there.
He was running so fast he raised the roof on that thing.
I guess he'll continue like that, Amanda.
That would be the debris that was found in turn 3. Actually heard on the radio communication from Matt Kraft, and Bailey Curry was in front of him, and he said, hey, someone's roof is about to fly off, and there it went.
They'll have to go straight to the garage without a roof.
Unfortunate circumstance for Bailey. Curry was having a great run running top 5, and boom, there goes his roof. He's got a convertible, but unfortunately that's good for parking it in the garage. Tomorrow on FS1, Caitlin Clark, the reigning Player of the Year, the Wooden Award winner, first team All-American, and now the all-time leading scorer in NCAA women's history. She'll take the court as 4th-ranked Iowa hosts Illinois. It all tips off at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Caitlin Clark, oh my goodness.
I just love watching her shoot that basketball. I mean, from the logo mid-court, she makes shots. She is an amazing basketball player.
Superstar. I hear we may get her in Indianapolis. Fingers crossed, that'd be pretty cool. Stuart Friesen, saw him get in the wall.
Pistons might not be. Detroit Pistons might be.
Go girl, she could. She could.
A lot of guys with
We want her in Indy.
During the course of this race are on pit road. Stuart Friesen is there. Ben Rhodes. A lot of going on in pit road.
Colby Howard got the free pass. And Colby Howard now is on pit road.
And now we're going to line them up double foul and go at it.
That was a close call. Lane Riggs coming out of the pits with Ben Rhodes. A lot of damaged trucks, but not a lot that have had to retire.
And I love the fact that we've had just, what, single truck incidents. We've never had a multi-truck incident yet.
Oh, now you know what's going to happen, Phil.
Phil, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
The announcer curse.
No.
Well, cautions, 6 so far today. How many did you guys have in Daytona? 12?
A lot.
Most ever? Was it the most ever?
Yeah, I think so.
See, Dean Thompson was running 5th and jumped up to 2nd on the Jews.
I'll take it, he said.
Yes. You never know when you'll get a good push from Majeski, and maybe the caution comes right back out, and you're ahead of the 18. I think you got to take that front row when you can get it, especially from back in 5th.
We've seen success down there.
Dean Thompson on the inside for Tricon Garage. They've all been chasing the 18 of Tyler Ankrum today.
Ty Majeski with a big push on Dean Thompson.
Look at the 11 of Corey Heim. Pushing on the outside. Look how exciting this is.
Pushing on the inside. Oh, they come break apart. Corey Heim.
Kyle Busch says, I got you, buddy. Gets to the bumper of the 11.
What a nice job by Majeski to push Dean Thompson out in the lead.
Caution is out again for the 7th time. We have debris on the front stretch.
Exactly what we were talking about, Jamie. Dean Thompson took the front row, got a great push by Majeski, and now he will be our leader for this next restart.
It's not another roof, is it?
Surely not.
And after that happened, Phil, you reminded me, NASCAR used to race convertibles.
Yeah, I used to come watch Michael race convertibles back in the 60s.
That never gets old, Phil, that joke.
Well, the tables are turned because he always does it to Phil.
I told Jamie you were going to say that to me, so I beat you to the punch.
So 35 laps to go. Dean Thompson will be the leader. Ty Majeski, Tyler Ankrum, Corey Heim, and then Kyle Busch in the 5th spot. Grant Enfinger up there in 6th. You see there's the debris.
Some metal, aluminum at least.
You know, the restarts have been fairly tame considering what we could see, and obviously the closer we get to the end of the race, and that's probably going to go out the window.
AMR safety team on it today. Cleaning up the debris, tending to drivers.
Everybody can take a deep breath because it's going to get crazier. The
Look at that.
restarts, all the action.
Did you see that shot of the infield?
Beautiful scene. I've loved every second I've been in Atlanta looking at these fans enjoying NASCAR here on a beautiful weekend.
Well, we moved it up about a month sooner than last year, and the forecast has been great. Chilly overnight, but it warms up. We're in the 60s right now. I think maybe about 59, 60. But the sun is shining. It'll be shining tomorrow for the Cup race, and that is welcome after last week in Daytona.
We got a great look of Lane Riggs, struck the 38, and you know, we said we'd never had a roof fall off during a race or come off during a race. I'm not sure that the 38 roof isn't looking like it could potentially fall off. Jamie, how?
You see Ty Majeski now up into that 2nd place position after making some adjustments. He's said early on he felt like it was wrecking every lap. He needed it tightened. He's very happy with the truck that he has here in the closing stages of this race, which is even more impressive considering this team does not have a full-time engineer on the 98 truck right now. That Ryan Elsdorf, who was with the team prior to this season, he left to spend some more time at home. He actually flew in today to help the team out. There's such a lack of engineers here in the NASCAR garages that they have actually hired a student who doesn't graduate from Oklahoma State until May. So they're just trying to get by up until that point, and they really give a lot of credit to Brent Butler back in their shop in Ohio, who is managing all of these interns and new graduates that they're going to be joining this team later on this year.
Thank you, Jamie. That's interesting. Racing without an engineer. I mean, engineers are at a premium. When you walk through the garages, I mean, there's so many engineers. I don't even know how many like a Hendrick Motorsports or Joe Gibbs has. But times have changed in NASCAR. And now it's hard to find somebody to employ.
Michael, when you had your team, I remember asking you one time how many engineers you had on staff, and it was over 50.
Yeah, we did. And, you know, when we started racing, Phil, not to talk about the convertibles and our age, but when I first started racing, there weren't engineers. And then we got our first engineer, and he had to double as a travel agent just so we could afford to have him. And it gotten to the point where these teams now, the Cup teams, have upwards of 100 engineers that work on these teams. And I think something interesting is happening. Remember, was it Zane Smith that got disqualified last year
at
Homestead because of his windshield? And I'm wondering if that could be leading to these roofs failing. Maybe the windshield's caving in a bit and air getting under there. We saw that happen to Bailey Curry, and you mentioned Zane Smith, or excuse me,
Lane
Riggs having the same possible issue.
Is it an aerodynamic advantage to maybe have that windshield bow in a little bit?
It is, but
these teams will maximize every single thing that they can find.
You know why? Engineers.
Yes.
They thought of that. That's why we didn't see this back in the day.
So here's the truck you were talking about.
What'd you see, Phil, that led you to see that?
The very front edge of that windshield almost looks like it's coming apart from the top.
They're
of the
lining
windshield.
him back up. We'll drop the green flag again. Dean Thompson leads them from Atlanta. Two laps to go. The green flag is in the air. Dean Thompson had led officially his first career laps. He got pushed out of the way right as the flag waved.
Wow, way out of the way. He was sideways before they got the green. Up till he went, Tyler Ankrum seized the lead with Kyle Busch right on his bumper.
See Majeski there, the 98. He was the one that was right behind Dean Thompson.
Remember those two yellow trucks down on the bottom that made those big moves? Here they come.
Both of them under penalty not that long ago. Or the 2 under penalty, the 9 because he didn't get it full, had to restart from the back.
Well, you guys mentioned Grant Enfinger, somebody to watch the beginning of this race, and he has come through the field. Here's that restart. Ty Majeski behind the 5. Boom, pushes him out of the way. See you later.
I think the 5 truck missed a gear. I think if he didn't miss a gear, if Majeski just pulled around him, then that would have been an illegal pass on the restart. So I'm sure the NASCAR officials are looking, and they have SMT data that can tell whether he missed a gear or not.
Look at this battle for the lead. To the front, Grant Enfinger. That was a wild restart, but everybody kept them heading in the right direction.
Grant Enfinger with his brand new race team.
And his brand new buddy, Nick Sanchez.
Hey, buddy, you almost wrecked me, but you didn't. Let's work together. Grant Enfinger, you saw him on pit road, didn't get it full, had to back it up. They got it full, and to the front he goes.
What about Ty Dillon? See that white truck fourth back. He's been a couple laps down, fought his way into the lead pack.
He had a free pass. Haven't talked about him other than that. Here he is right in the mix. Former Cup Series driver back in the trucks now full time.
And a crew chief for Grant Enfinger, Jeff Stankiewicz, back in the truck garage. Remember, 2020 champion crew chief for Sheldon Creed here in the Truck Series.
I just like the speed of the 2. I think he's the reason why the 9 is so fast. The 2 is just all over him. And look, he's going to push him to the lead. And then his buddy,
thought about it.
His buddy just bailed on him.
Thank you and goodbye.
Yeah, see you later. I hope not.
No friends out here. You're only friends if you're the faster truck and you can help me win.
What about that from the back to the front for Grant Enfinger?
3 Chevrolets hooked up front.
Amanda, what are they saying in Ty Dillon's camp?
This was actually his first win here in the Truck Series, and he was saying to me earlier to the race that they were actually identifying Vegas as the race to really break out, but the truck's been really good to him all day. But instead of being back in the Craftsman Truck Series, that he's liking the attention. He wants to be talked about and remembered for the right reasons.
Yeah, it's good to have Ty Dillon back in the series. As you saw, Tyler Ankrum, who has led 46 laps today, hung out to dry, no friends.
Sanchez goes by on the outside. Here comes the 45.
Got Chase Purdy there. Chase says, I'll help you out, buddy. I want to get to the front. Look at Daniel Dye. Started on the pole, been up in the top 10 all day. Good job for that. A lot of great stories. Caden Honeycutt. Kids that we know have a lot of talent. We've watched them. We've appreciated their ability, and they're able to show it here in Atlanta.
Still trying to form that line on the bottom. Meanwhile, Grant Enfinger continues to lead out front. Came so close to winning that championship in Phoenix.
You think Kyle Busch is patient enough just to ride in second there until there's just a couple to go?
I think so.
You think that's how you win this race? You lay off of them late, get a push from the truck behind you?
And is Majeski going to help Kyle Busch?
Jamie, let's hear from the leading crew chief right now.
Jeff Stankiewicz watching on as Grant Enfinger just went by into turn one. He's got a lot of help out there. The condition that the truck is in right now, will that be enough to get him to the checkered?
Yeah, I think so. We got some good trucks around us, good pushers, you know. Grant's done a great job all day. We've had a couple miscues on pit road. We got to clean up ourselves, but other than that, we're in position where we need to be. Wouldn't want anybody other than Kyle Busch behind us helping us there. So I don't think the bottom row's going right now. On the restarts it will. If we get another restart, I think it can move for a lap or two, but I think we're in great position right now. We just got to defend it at the end of the race.
Michael, you said it. They can overcome this, and they have so far.
Well, he said it. We don't want anybody else other than Kyle Busch pushing us. That's their competition. Kyle knows how to win here. 6 times he's done it in the Truck Series, 2 times in Cup, 3 times in Xfinity.
You know what's great about this, Phil, is they don't want anyone behind them other than Kyle Busch. And he's going to stay there right up until when he beats him, or, you know, when he attempts to beat him. And that's what's so fun about racing. You know, oh, we talked about it with Grant and Nick. You're my ally. Okay, now you're not. This is a great moment for him right now, but he knows what's going to come.
How much are they driving in that rearview mirror right now?
100%. You have to, well, that's not fair. They got to look forward some. Half the time.
at least 50%.
Especially on those laps when you talked about when Kyle ducks out to take the lead, how much you have to be looking in that mirror to know that moment to time it just right.
And Grant Enfinger has Tim Fedewa on top of the roof as a spotter, so Tim knows what's going on. He's a great race car driver, a great spotter, so he's going to keep Grant abreast of exactly what Kyle's doing. If Kyle peeks his nose out, Timmy Fedewa is going to tell Grant that he's doing it.
I'm just really curious to see if he waits till the end. That seems unlike Kyle Busch, wanting to lead every lap, but we'll see if that's the strategy he uses.
As they cross the start-finish line, it's the Craftsman, 20 laps to go.
I think the only thing that Kyle would like to do more than lead every lap is win this race.
Yes. And you know, he's playing with that gas pedal. He understands exactly how to make this move, how much he lays off, what happens when the 98 truck gets right on his tailgate, how much does it change his truck? But does he think also, I can win this race from the front, I can control the race and win it that way? It's going to be fun to watch over these next Craftsman 20 to go.
Ty Majeski in the 98 behind Kyle Busch has been strong today. Does he stick with him? Corey Himes right there, Taylor Gray, Nick Sanchez in the 2. We've talked about how strong he was today. He's in the mix. What do they do? How long do they run single file? Amanda.
Grant Enfinger's crew chief of last year, Jeff Hensley, is working alongside Taylor Gray this season, and he said that this kid right here is due for a win at any time. Taylor, this is his first trip to Atlanta Motor Speedway at 18 years old. Jeff said he's so mature that I have to remind myself that I'm old enough to be his grandfather.
And Jeff Hensley was Grant Enfinger's crew chief on and off for many years. So a whole new chapter for both of them. And I'm sure it's exciting inside to see Grant leading, but he wants his driver to get it done.
What a day it's been for the 99 truck, huh?
No kidding.
Just got the free pass, and now look at him, right up toward the top 10.
No quit in that team. 15th right now.
What great rebounds by some of these teams that we talked about. Grant Enfinger having to back up into his pit to fill it up with fuel. Taylor Gray, you talked about, he started in the 31st position, speeding for Nick Sanchez on a late pit stop. Flat tire for Rajah Caruth. and all making a nice rebound.
What about at Daytona when we said the CR17 for Grant Enfinger would raise some eyebrows this year? And here he is leading late at Atlanta, pacing them down the front straightaway right now.
14 laps and counting for Grant Enfinger.
Who's the first guy going to make a move, Michael?
I just don't. I think they just wait. I think they've seen what happened. You go by yourself, you're just going to get drop kicked. I think they just wait and take their chances at the end.
Are there plans being formulated up on top of the spotter stand or down on pit road with the crew chiefs?
Yeah, if you're, heck, say you're back there where Nick Sanchez is, you're probably not going to win from 6. Do you try to talk Taylor Gray into making that move and try to push?
I'll go with you. I'll go with you.
Let's do it together.
Now, these drivers can't talk to each other on the radio. They can only talk to their spotter and ask their spotter if they want help or they want to figure out a plan. The spotters have to talk to the other spotters.
Well, crew chiefs, too. Crew chiefs can talk on pit road as well.
And the texting, there's so much. There's the spotters up top, but there was a time, it wasn't very long ago, where drivers could talk to drivers, and we love that.
Yeah. They had 16 channels, and they had 15 other drivers that they would talk to during the race.
NASCAR said, I don't think that's too safe. So if you want something done, you need to tell your team, your spotter needs to walk over to the other guy, and you guys work out a plan. Michael, you had mentioned, you know, when is the time to go? And you talk to different drivers, they have different philosophies. Like some just feel out the energy when they need to go. Some say it's 10, some say it's 5 to go.
I'm just thinking with what I've seen, it's going to be later than that. It's going to be down on the last couple of laps. Do you do it on the very last lap? Like back in the 70s when you'd see the big slingshot come?
I'd be afraid of making that move to the bottom without help, because we saw what happened to Tyler Ankrum, who was doing a great job in this race, got down on the bottom and lost ground. Now he's running back in the 8th spot.
Let's get an update on Corey Heim in 4th. Jamie.
When we talked about Corey Heim at the front of the show, remember, he was all the way back in that 19th starting position and really unhappy about that. But he did say that he felt like his truck was going to handle well enough and he was going to be able to be there at the end. He finds himself inside the top 5, and he's still saying that they have something stable right now, trying to feel out if they can go down to the bottom. He's got his teammate Taylor Gray right there with him. So I would still anticipate some movement happening here in these last few laps.
I would anticipate it too, but I'm gonna anticipate it with about 2 to go. But here comes another run. Ben Rhodes back there is trying to make some ground on the bottom. There he goes. He gets a spot there. Bails on Ty Dillon, but just picking them up one at a time.
Yeah, one at a time. That's what Ben Rhodes. He knows with 11 laps to go, he's running out of time if he's going to go up and contend for this win. And he's got a bit of a gap in front of Daniel Dye. That's the next truck in front of him. Let's see if he makes the move as he gets down turn 3. He is going to make the move, and there is a spot for him to get into, Michael. But he's going to elect not to take it. He's going to stay on the bottom of the racetrack. Someone's got to jump down there and help him.
You're not going to win from 10th, so you got to team up, create a draft, and go.
Here's the 99, gets into the wall. Ben Rhodes, boom, just kisses it. Looks like a kiss from here. Easy
just a slight kiss.
Jostle him inside.
He's made his move up to the 11th spot. You see Dean Thompson, the 5 truck, right now. Oh, tires going down.
Yeah,
tires going down. Yeah.
Will this bring out a caution to reset this race? Can he get down? He does. No caution. I'm going to tell you what's formulating, Phil. Up ahead of our leaders, there's 3 lap trucks. There's, you see Ben Rhodes with a lot of damage after that kiss off the turn 2 wall. It turned into more than that as he went down into turn 3 and got in the wall. Look at these lap trucks. These trucks could make this pack split up. They could get a draft. They could see an opportunity. What will these leaders do?
Especially if those trucks stay side by side. Those trucks are side by side in front of them right now.
They can't do that. They got a single file out. They're going to do so, but they're still going to mess. They're still going to change the draft as these trucks get there.
8 laps to go. What is the game plan? Grant Enfinger continues to lead. Kyle Busch, Ty Majeski, Corey Heim, Taylor Gray, Nick Sanchez. Who's going to make a move?
Those lap trucks are doing a nice job staying down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Look at how it bunches them up, though. It changes
Kyle
things.
Busch gets into the back, it looked like, of the 9.
Looked like Grant had to get out the throttle. Did maybe he lose the front end, Michael?
Those lapping trucks we saw it early in the race with Keith McGee.
There he goes. Kyle Busch makes that move. He wanted to dart to the inside and drop Grant Enfinger. Grant Enfinger, no help, falls back and continues falling back.
Got to be a problem for Grant Enfinger.
Something happened to that truck.
He continues to fall back. Definitely, certainly looks like some issue for Grant.
Well, we saw the wiggle from Kyle Busch. He got into the back of Grant. Something happened there, and he continues to go backwards. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch up front, leading here with 6 laps to go. Ty Majeski pushing him.
That's a game changer with Kyle Busch now in control of the race.
We were trying to think of what Kyle was going to do. Now, what is Majeski going to do? Corey Heim, Taylor Gray.
This is tense, guys. Can you beat the winningest driver in the history of the Truck Series?
64 times he has driven a truck to victory lane.
15 years since he drove for somebody else in the Truck Series.
Other than himself.
Can't really see what happened to the 9. He didn't hit the wall, but obviously lost pace.
Great job by Kyle Busch with Majeski getting in the back of him to hold on to that truck.
So what does Ty Majeski do? He's led 3 laps today, but he has been right there in the hunt in the top 5 all race long.
You've got a Chevrolet leading, a Ford running second, and 2 Toyotas right now running 3rd and 4th.
Grant Enfinger brings that number 9 champion truck to pit road. Looks like a right front flat for Grant.
Well, the Toyotas get together and gang up on these other 2 manufacturers.
Second time today we saw the most dominant truck at that moment have an issue. Christian Eckes earlier in the race had one stage 1 and they had their issues, no brakes. So you see Grant now down on pit road trying to figure out what went wrong with him.
Yeah, that right front tire, as they took it off, you could tell it was flat. What a tough break for that team. But as we talked about, they're going to be strong all year long.
Kyle Busch continues to lead and control this race.
If I'm Ty Majeski, I'm starting to roll off the back of Kyle Busch just a bit. Start playing with that air. Start feeling what it's like to fall back and get a push and time it perfectly.
Get everybody group back up right here. We need to start doing our moves. 3 to go. 1 off 45, drag to him. We need to start creating our run.
That's Nick Sanchez team talking about laying off the brake a little bit to back up.
And he's
got Honeycutt.
He's got a nice gap here. He can pull up if he can get the right push.
Drag the brake a little bit, get those guys bunched up, see if they can get enough energy here to get around Kyle Busch and his pack.
Flag right
Coming
here,
to the white flag, Kyle Busch leads Ty Majeski, Corey Heim, Taylor Gray. Well, Nick Sanchez and his group have anything for him. One last chance here.
Back up to him, Ty. Back up to that 11 truck. Not going to be able to do it, it doesn't look like. Can he dive to the bottom? There's a push.
What does Ty Majeski do? He's looking, he's sniffing. Corey Heim is right there to the inside. Can he get to Kyle Busch? As Kyle Busch hangs on. Out of turn 4, checkered flag. Kyle Busch wins it for the 7th time at Atlanta.
Yeah. Woo-hoo. Let's go, boys. Come on.
Well, I guess his feedback to Spire Motorsports will be, thumbs up, guys. Your stuff's rolling.
Pretty good program you have going on here, boys.
Yeah, y'all should win a lot more races this year. Good luck.
Well, we set it up at the top of the show and said, who, if anybody, can beat Kyle Busch? And you talked about the teams that would be strong, and they were. Unfortunately, Christian Eckes was out. I think he was about 1 or 2, maybe the strongest truck in the field, but he had his problems.
Yeah, there's a reason he races on Sundays, Jamie.
That's a nudge from, yeah, exactly. Yeah. A nudge from his teammate, Raja Carruth.
So many great stories, though, in the top 10. Kyle Busch gets the win, but...
How about Carruth with another top 10?
Yeah, and Taylor Gray, top 5.
How about Honeycutt with a great 6th place finish?
Yeah.
Hey, guys, and I got to say, we never had a big one. These drivers did their best. There were some amazing saves today. Great racing. Well done by everyone. As Kyle Busch burns it down. His burnouts are so impressive.
He's had a lot of practice, though.
Yes,
Jamie.
he has. And his son, Brexton, getting a lot of practice. He says, I don't need these tires anymore. Burn it down.
What a fun race. We talked about at the beginning of the race, if you like Daytona, we're going to see a lot of action. If you thought it was too much action, you're going to love this race. And I think this one fell right where we thought it would. Good drafting, good racing, but not a lot of carnage.
A lot of damage, but things that they can control. Not a lot of trucks out of the race. There he is, Spire Motorsports. Kyle Busch Motorsports built all these trucks, sold the team, asked Kyle to come back, run 5 races for them, gets the flag. We're gonna see that famous bow. Let's see it, Kyle.
Remember, Brian Patty, the crew chief, was Kyle's crew chief last year at KBM.
Hired him, called him himself and said, I want you to come join my team. So Brian Patty's still there. And Amanda, you're with the winner with the bow.
And he just took the bow in front of the crowd that is on their feet here, cheersing Kyle Busch. And the winningest driver in the Craftsman Truck Series now owns 65 of these. And Kyle, you do this one in a truck that you don't own. You do it at a racetrack that you weren't really excited about coming to. What was the difference maker today?
I mean, you're relying on help, right? So you got to have guys behind you that are willing to work with you. And Majeski was that guy today for me. So, I mean, there at the end, we had a bunch of Spire teammates out there that were great to work with, too. The 77 was good. The 7 was good. The 2 was good. I wanted to get us all on the bottom that time, and we did. We drove right up to the front, and then I was going to try to control both lanes. As soon as I pulled out to the top, the bottom went away. So I was like, well, sorry. But no, just thanks to Chevrolet. Appreciate Spire, Group 1001, everybody that has been a part of this organization from the very start to what we have today. It's a lot of fun. Love Rowdy Nation. Appreciate all the 8 stuff out there. A lot of yellow out there, a lot of black, so that's good. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kyle. Congratulations.
For Ty Majeski, we were wondering, was he able to back it up? You said that was just too risky of a move. When you have to make those choices, how do you lay the options?
Yeah, it's tough, right? Obviously, you want to win the race. I just felt like if I had backed up to the 11, I knew he had a teammate behind him. I was afraid they were going to hang me. So I was trying to get a run, formulate a run. I had a run. I got to Kyle's bumper, and I knew he was going to cover the bottom. My only shot was to try and fade right and get to his quarter panel. And when I did that, the 11 went with him, and that was kind of the only shot that I had. So overall, super proud of the day. The truck was a little ill handling in the beginning. Joe Shear made some great calls, tightened me up a little bit so we could go racing. But appreciate all our partners. We have farm paint on the truck this week. Curb Records, Road Ranger Soda Sense is back this season. So have a lot of good things to look forward to this year, and appreciate everybody at ThorSport. Just love doing this with this group. Love what I'm doing, and can't wait to get to Vegas.
There was a conversation between you and Joe on the radio post-checkered flags where you said, thanks for working with me. He said, I know how to fix it. Where was it that you were struggling?
Yeah, just really back in traffic. We just fought a free truck. Like when I got back at 15th to 20th, I mean, I could barely hold on, and made a big swing at it. Made one good choose call to get to the bottom, push the 5 to the lead, and the caution came out, got good track position, and from there we were able to hold it. So we had a fast truck. We just need that track position to go with it. It's the name of the game of these truck races.
Lots of good things to come. Thank you.
There's Tim Duggar. He had to be happy with that ride.
Yeah, Tim always
and
a good ride.
Let me ask you this. Farm paint, is that a perfect sponsor for a truck? I just love that.
If you have a farm, got a lot of fencing, that's the kind of paint you want.
That's right.
Withstands all the weather. Oh, I love this shot.
Me too.
Drives it into victory lane.
One of our Fox cameramen running right behind that truck to get the perfect shot of pulling into victory lane at the Freight 208.
Ty Majeski, what a great day it was. And Corey Heim, his home track, brings it home 3rd. Jamie?
It's a solid result for Corey Heim. He doesn't seem that happy. He said, yeah, it's not so bad. What could you still improve on, you think, after the gains you made today?
Yeah, I didn't think we were going to be a great leader out front, so I was planning on helping the 98 and at least hoping that him and Kyle would race it out and we would be able to make it through wide or something and compete for the win. But talked to Ty after the race. He was afraid that us in the 17 were going to pick him since we were teammates. So it makes sense. It was just kind of circumstantial, and I didn't really feel like we had the speed in our Tundra Charity Pro to be out front today. But regardless, we played the strategy right, put ourselves in position to win, and that's really all you can ask for. So huge thank you to Tricon Garage, Shorter Racing, and Safe Light.
One of the things we talked about earlier in the weekend is one of the advantages that you have now versus last year is just the repetitive nature of this team. Everybody's worked together. You have a lot more confidence. What role did that play in moving forward today?
Yeah, I mean, we brought back our whole squad from last year, and we're consistently putting races together strategy-wise, and we have really well-handling trucks. I think we lacked in the speed department today, but we kind of knew that coming into the race. But we got a lot of good ones coming up on the schedule, and I can't wait to get started with Tricon Garage.
Thank you.
Great day for him as well. And the man who led the most laps today, 46 of them, Tyler Ankrum, ended up 7th.